Hi everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to Confessions of a Domestic Engineer, as I like to call it, Code. And today, we are going deep into the Matrix and its woke ass shit. Alright, so, at this point you're probably wondering, what the? Okay. I love the Matrix series. I love all three movies. I'm not just one of those people, oh, the first movie was awesome and the other two, eh. No, the first movie was awesome. Cinematically groundbreaking. The two movies that followed up, also at the time, definitely cinematically groundbreaking, and also gets into a lot of concepts that I think were just too heady for a lot of people, which is why a lot of people, when it comes to the second and third movie, kind of get a little weird. I just rewatched the movies for the first time and definitely for the first time since I got divorced. And I did a nice binge over 2 days. And here's what I've got to say. If those movies were released today, people like Jeremy over at the Quartering, he's actually one of the few geek guys I regularly watch. There's a few, not just him though. A couple of the other the guys that are always screaming about woke BS, and Yellow Flash is another one as well. There's another one out there I absolutely Nerdrotic. Okay, the guy, the dude over at Nerdrotic, who I think he is really he's slipped way too far down the rabbit hole. If any of those guys were to watch The Matrix now, they would tell you it's woke shit. Complete woke shit. And the reason why I say this, okay? Once again, I love these movies. I still love these movies, okay? But these movies were honestly 30 years ahead of their time in wokeness. First off, if you go back and rewatch the entire series, almost every single female in the series is androgynous. Very androgynous. To the point where most of them, by today's standards, would be either non-binary, asexual, gender fluid. I'm not, so look at Trinity alone, okay? Carrie Ann Moss, love her. I think she is a brilliant actress. I absolutely loved her on Jessica Jones as her character that she played, even though she was a gender change. The original character that she played, I thought was great. I loved what she did with the character. She made it her own. I thought she was fantastic as Hobart. Would not change anything. Or, sorry, Iron Fist. Well, I guess she did Jessica Jones and Iron Fist, right? Yeah. Hobart? I can't remember. Fantastic. I love Carrie Ann Moss. I think she's great. Now, if you know the story behind The Matrix, you'll know that she got down to, I think it was like less than 5% body fat. And for a woman, that's incredible. The problem is throughout the entire trilogy, all the women get down to less than 5% body fat. So it really, there's only one woman in the entire series on my rewatch that was 100% clearly non-androgynous, was meant to totally personify a woman. And that one person is I can't even think of what her name is. But she basically plays a female sociopath almost. Your typical, the one that makes Neo kiss her in front of Trinity because she doesn't think she'll ever be kissed with that type of love and passion again, blah, 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 blah. The only one that's actually effeminate, truly effeminate in the movie. Because even Jada Pinkett Smith, is still in the movie, has her femininity, I feel, stripped away from her. And all of them, all the women in the movie, I felt have their femininity stripped away from them. But outside of Morpheus, and even that's a little so-so, I would say a lot of the guys had their masculinity even stripped from them. Not entirely, but to a degree. Also, the fact that basically, aside from Neo, every white guy in the Matrix basically is either cannon fodder or a villain, or attempting to be a villain, or going to be a villain. Like if you look at all the guys in the first movie, every character in the first movie, okay? Morpheus, obviously, Morpheus is Morpheus. Neo, who's the one, and people say, well, yeah, but the white guy is the one, the chosen one, blah, 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 blah. It's not that simple. Because the chosen one is chosen by everybody else. And he just has to believe. But anyways, but you look at Tank and Dozer. Tank is the most manly of the bunch. The single most manly person, most buff, built, alpha male looking fucker. Black dude. Or sorry, was that Dozer? I'm sorry, I could be mixing the two of them up. But either way, even with that, you look at the guy who saves everybody's ass on the ship while everybody else is jacked into the Matrix still when Cypher starts pulling plugs on people. Cypher, the white guy, being the bad guy. Agent Smith, the white guy, the bad guy. Or the agents in general. All the agents were white. So just looking at that there's some woke-ass shit going on, okay? Like, basically, you got the token white guy as the top good guy, and then every other person is either ethnicity, person of color, whatever term I hate using person of color, oh my god. Because of the time period in which I grew up, man, and I just feel so wrong to say person of color. I hate it. Oh, cringe. Now, I also don't want to take anything away from any of the other actors in there, because let's be very clear, as my brain farts and I forget actors' names. Morpheus there. I wish I could think of his name. Oh man, I can't believe I blanked. Anyways, Lawrence Fishburne. I love Lawrence Fishburne. I have seen probably every major Lawrence Fishburne movie, except for the new one, Ice Road. I haven't watched that one yet. I got to get around to that one. I love Lawrence Fishburne. I watch stuff specifically for Lawrence Fishburne. If Lawrence Fishburne's in it, there's a chance I'm going to watch it. I like Lawrence Fishburne. He is fantastic. He was one of the main reasons I watched the TV show Blackish. It was just so I get my Lawrence Fishburne fix, man. The dude is legend and God, okay? And I go back, Apocalypse Now and Pee-wee's Playhouse with him, okay? But, so it's nothing against any of the actors or anything like that, top-notch actors and actresses. But it really goes out of its way to desexualize everybody, which is cool. That's fine, too. I mean, I love the romance that's in there. But even the romance itself, when I go back and watch it between Neo and Trinity, the chemistry between the two works, but it doesn't, it's a very, almost children-like, children's story-like relationship. The only real time in the entire franchise of the 3 movies so far that it really feels like women are allowed to have any type of sexuality, or even the men are allowed to have any type of sexuality, is when they're having the big dance sequence down before the big battle, that night that they're going to party their fucking asses off like it's the fucking end. And even in that, if you watch that sequence, there's definitely women in there that are not very straight with minimal curve. There's a few in there that have curve, but there's not a whole lot. And to me, curves are important too. I mean, straight girls are still, very attractive. Don't get me wrong, but it's nice to have a variety. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you get one scene that's not even overly sexualized. I mean, the fact that they're all wearing white and they're hot and they're sweaty, especially in the days of 4K, it's a lot easier to see through the shirts and whatnot. So, nothing there, no qualms, no quarrels. Not even that I'm looking at the movie for sexuality. I'm just saying how desexualized the movie really is. Like they really took all the sexuality they possibly could, I feel, and stripped it out of there. But then when you start getting into the sequels, you see even more and more of that woke mentality going on. Because, you've got the old white men that are in charge of everything at the top of the council. But after that, it's all like black dudes that are calling all most of the shots. And when there is a white dude, he's being challenged and is forced to back down. So, and let me tell you, folks, when I'm saying this is the perspective. This is a modern view, okay? This is if the movie was released today. This would be the view that a lot of people would be taking. And even I, watching it with a modern view, I'm seeing this. And it's like, shit, what? A movie that was so ahead of its time, so groundbreaking, so awesome, really was the catalyst for this SJW BS that we're dealing with nowadays, man. The only difference is there's no one extremely overweight in there, and no one's flat out trans or this, that, and the other thing, until you get to the creator. Sorry, I don't remember which Wachowski it is that transitioned. I know one of them has, because I know on the new trailer it shows it there. I'm interested to see what they do with the new movie, because the new movie in its own way almost seems to be less woke. Another example too, the Oracle, for example. The Oracle was black. Morpheus, the main guy in the first movie, is black. So when you look at all of this stuff from a modern perspective, it looks like an SJW movie and a half. And I do challenge any of you guys that I mentioned there, Jeremy from the Quartering, who I respect, honestly. I do like Jeremy at the Quartering. I love listening to a lot of his broadcasts. So this is not this is not me taking the piss out of him. This is not me shitting on him. This is me basing, when you watch the reviews from modern movies and modern shows and listen to what they say and what they complain about, and you go back and watch The Matrix, it all applies to The Matrix. The only difference is between The Matrix and this other SJW stuff is, like I said, The Matrix is really, really heady, and The Matrix is awesome. The Matrix has this great storyline with these great thought points and stuff like that. And to me, it's a spectacular movie or franchise that way. And I really, honestly, I'm scared with the new movie coming out that they'll misstep in a way that I don't like, because it could happen. But at the same time, I'm also very excited because it is one of the same people doing it. And yeah, obviously their perspectives are going to have changed as well. But it is still at the heart going to be the original people. You know what I mean? At the heart, like we're going to be missing a few people, obviously, that were in the originals. Hugo Weaving, from what I understand, is not coming back. Lawrence Fishburne is not coming back. And there might be one or two others that don't come back as well. I believe scheduling was the problem for one of them. Another person just wasn't asked if they wanted to come back. It really depends on what the storylines are, stuff like that, and what they do with it. It looks like the movie is either going to be one of two things. It's either going to be post-Matrix, post-original trilogy. And the main reason why I want to say post-original trilogy is it does look like it's set after 1999 in The Matrix. The Matrix itself looks like it's set after 1999. It doesn't, I don't believe it could be one of the first run-throughs, though. And the reason why I don't believe it could be one of the earlier run-throughs, other than the fact it's definitely supposed to be after 1999, is everybody seems to awaken knowing they're in the Matrix. So I want to say that, if you watch the original trilogy and you go back when the Oracle at the end said, oh, don't worry, I have a feeling we're going to see him again, blah, 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 blah. So I really do think that's going to happen. I really do think that this takes place after the original trilogy, and I hope I'm not wrong on that one, because if it's prequel shit, I'm going to be so upset. I am so tired of prequel crap. Hollywood has got to quit with the prequel shit. And I'm interested to see what they do with the story as well. I'm hoping it's not just basically a rehash of the original, or they don't turn around. Some rumors have it that Trinity is now going to be the new chosen one. I don't buy that. I really can't see them making Trinity the new chosen one. And if they did, I'd be really upset because, like I said, this whole video, the Matrix is already extremely woke. Beyond woke. It is. It truly is extremely beyond woke. If you go back, rewatch it, and you got to go boom, 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 okay? At least the 3 movies over the 2 days. And watch it with the modern perspective. Don't watch it with your, tinted perspective of loving nostalgia. Still a fantastic movie, still holds up, but makes me a little panicky, a little worried. It is what it is, right? That being said, not everything that goes woke needs to go broke. Just most of it. And if this does go any more woke than the original Matrix was, like by doing something like making Trinity the new chosen one, that'll destroy it. It will. It'll absolutely ruin it. Once again, the movie was already exceptionally woke for, being 24, 23 years ahead of its time. We don't need to make it any more woke. So we just need to advance that story and make sure it's a good advancement of the story. And that's what I'm hoping for. So yeah, that's it for this one. I really wanted to get that out there after watching it and talking about it. If I wanted to really go through the hassle of being able to play clips and stuff like that, I would. I don't even really want the copyright hassles of putting pictures up on this one. I don't mind, but I don't. Some of the stuff is just getting out of control from what other people are getting hit with and stuff like that. So anyways, those are my views. Let me know what you think. That's what the comment section is for. Don't just turn around and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The Matrix isn't woke, blah, 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 blah. No, seriously, okay? If you're going to tell me that the Matrix isn't woke, or if you're any of the other dudes who I've called out and mentioned in here. And when I say called out, I don't mean I've called you out. You're bad people. No, I don't mean that. I watch you guys that I've mentioned, except for Nerd Erotic. I watch him, but I watch him to see what an idiot he's going to be about stuff. Because sometimes he hits the right points, but he does it in such a horrible way. And most of the time, I think he's way off base on stuff. Especially his reviews of the What If episodes. He was so off base on a couple of them. I mean, some of them he's definitely got very valid points. Other ones he was just so off base. But I guarantee he would be the worst. Nerd Erotic would be the absolute worst right now if The Matrix came out for slamming it and calling it woke garbage and this, that, and the other thing. The only thing that would save it probably for him would be the fact that, they still had Neo as the white guy, that's it. Other than that, he'd be left, right, and center. Woke garbage, woke garbage, woke garbage. Because I've heard of it. He's, for a guy that claims he used to own a comic book store, he's really not very knowledgeable on certain topics. I've caught him screwing up huge multiple times with comments that he's made. But anyways, go ahead. My comments section, hit me up. Hit me with good comments. And I don't mean blow smoke up my ass. I mean, if you're going to say that, you don't agree with me, give me some reasons why you don't agree with me. Don't just call me names or whatever like that. Because if you just call me names or whatever like that, I either A, won't respond, or B, will call you names back. And I guarantee you I can call you better names than you can ever call me. Other than that, everybody, like I always say, peace, love, Take care. Also, hit the like button, the share button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Later, folks.